She said it as clearly as possible. I don't like them. I don't want to know them. And with those words, Janelle Brown didn't just close a chapter in her life. She ignited the entire book and let it burn. What we're witnessing in season 19's Tell All. Part 2 isn't just the usual dose of reality TV drama. It's the painful and unfiltered unraveling of a family that once prided itself on faith, unity, and sacrifice. But now that 3 of the 4 wives have walked away, the question lingers. Did the women fail, or was the structure flawed from the beginning? Hey everyone, I'm Mia, and you're watching ET Future Chapter. Whether you followed Sister Wives from the beginning or only recently started tuning in, it's evident this show has evolved far beyond discussions about polygamous marriage. It's become a story about survival, identity, and the courage to face hard truths. In this episode, Janelle steps fully into that courage. She doesn't hint, she doesn't mask. She shares everything, her regrets, her sorrow, and her firm refusal to keep playing along. It's not just emotional, it's powerful, raw, and frankly, long overdue. Then there's Kody and Robyn, whose united front has become so cold, it's chilling. Robyn's blunt, I don't care, when asked about being labeled the sacred cow, wasn't just indifferent, it was deliberate. This dynamic has moved past tense family interactions into unsettling territory. But before we unpack the emotional wreckage, don't forget to subscribe if you're done with polished spin and want unfiltered reality. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this one's bound to stir up some strong opinions. For years, Janelle was the steady presence in the Brown family. While Christine vocalized her frustration and Mary visibly unraveled under pressure, Janelle remained grounded. She avoided drama, focused on practicality, and kept herself distanced from the emotional chaos. But now, that version of Janelle is gone. In this tell-all, it's like a dam burst. She's not just over the dysfunction, she's out, fully and irreversibly. Watching her transformation is like seeing someone finally breathe freely after holding it in for decades. Her clarity is stunning. When she's asked whether she'd still be friends with Kody or Robyn, she doesn't hesitate. I don't like them. I don't want to know them. There's no venom behind her words, just conviction. Janelle isn't trying to stir the pot. She's simply done with pretending. For years, we saw her trying to hold on to something, some hope, some neutrality. But now there is no middle ground. She's walked away from the dysfunction, and she's not turning back. She even reflects on her marriage with Kody with a brutally honest lens. When she says that if she'd had a full year to get to know Kody before marrying him, she might not have gone through with it, it cuts deep. That's not something you say unless you've done a serious reevaluation of your life. Her words reflect both pain and freedom. It's the kind of truth that you only reach after years of ignoring red flags and convincing yourself that everything will eventually work out. The most striking thing is how she finally stops protecting other people's feelings. Her focus isn't on Kody's ego or keeping peace. For the first time, it's about her voice, her story, her truth. And for many viewers, she's saying exactly what they've felt for years. Because how many people have stayed too long in something broken out of fear, loyalty, or the dream that maybe, just maybe, things could still change? This shift in Janelle, from quiet enabler to fearless truth teller, tells us all we need to know about the state of the Brown family. This is more than a breakup. It's a long overdue reckoning. And this time, there's no path back, no negotiation, just an ending that's been a long time coming. There's a moment in the tell-all that's so awkward, it almost doesn't feel real. When host Sukanya asks Robyn about being called the sacred cow, Robyn responds with a flat, "Whatever. I don't care." No emotion, no elaboration, nothing. And it speaks volumes, not just for what she says, but for what she refuses to say. Because being labeled something like that isn't just name calling. It's commentary on how Robyn has always seemed to occupy a protected space in the family, and the audience sees it. Robyn has long tried to juggle the roles of victim and mediator, but when Christine and Janelle were in pain, she didn't meaningfully step in. And now, with the family in ruins, her emotional detachment feels louder than ever. She's not defending herself. She's not explaining anything. She's retreating, leaving Kody to absorb all the fallout. Kody, meanwhile, seems to be embracing a persona that Janelle no longer recognizes. She says it herself. She doesn't remember him ever being this cold, this harsh, this dismissive. And she wonders out loud if this is all just an act. Maybe he's trying to be the villain on purpose to take attention off Robyn. It's a possibility she doesn't float lightly. You can hear the disbelief in her voice. She's not angry. She's heartbroken and bewildered. It's as if she's staring at a stranger wearing the mask of her former husband. And honestly, watching Kody now, it's hard not to share her confusion. His tone is sharp, defensive, and emotionally shut down. He speaks like someone who believes the world has betrayed him. Maybe he truly believes that. But the problem is, in building those emotional walls, he's pushed everyone, including his kids, completely out. He hasn't just changed. He's hardened into someone almost unrecognizable. What's even more unsettling is the eerie calm between Kody and Robyn. They're not shaken. They don't argue. They sit in what looks like unity, but it doesn't feel like strength. It feels like denial. Two people holding up a crumbling facade, refusing to admit that the image they've clung to is no longer real. Their silence and detachment are louder than any fight. And then there's the weight of what's not being said. This tell-all was filmed after the tragic death of Janelle and Kody's son, Garrison. That loss casts a long, quiet shadow over everything. Every expression, every word carries the heaviness of grief. And while no one dives deep into that pain on camera, it's there. You can feel it in the spaces between sentences. You can see it in the tightness of Janelle's face, in her firmness. That grief didn't just break her, it sharpened her. It erased any leftover tolerance she had for Kody and Robyn's behavior. Janelle's demeanor isn't dramatic, it's decisive. She's done pretending. The grief she carries has made everything crystal clear. During Garrison's funeral, one particular moment stood out. Robyn reportedly participated in the graveside ritual, pouring dirt over Garrison's casket. On its own, that might have been seen as a sign of respect. But for those who knew the fractured relationship between Garrison and Robyn, the gesture came off differently, distant, even performative. And although the show doesn't dwell on that moment, Janelle's expression in the tell-all says enough. Her bitterness, especially toward Robyn, feels stronger than ever. You get the sense that something at that funeral permanently broke her last thread of hope for the family. She's not screaming. She's not even emotional. She's simply finished. And for anyone who's grieved while feeling unsupported or overlooked, that quiet detachment is all too familiar. It doesn't need to be loud. It just is. Neither Kody nor Robyn brings up Garrison at all during the segments shown. Their silence, once again, is deafening. Janelle's distance and contrast feels not only justified, but necessary. She's still mourning, but she's choosing clarity, choosing boundaries, choosing herself. For many fans, that funeral wasn't just the end of Garrison's life. It was the end of Janelle's efforts to hold this family together. She let go of the fantasy that things could still be fixed. And viewers felt that shift deeply. Just scroll through social media, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, and you'll find a wave of support for Janelle. The response isn't split anymore. It's overwhelmingly in her favor. People aren't just sympathizing, they're relating. One Reddit comment summed it up perfectly. She finally said what we've all been thinking. That kind of reaction isn't just about being seen. It's a shift in public perception. The audience isn't giving Kody the benefit of the doubt anymore. They're not asking if he's misunderstood. They're labeling it selfish, emotionally unavailable, controlling. And Robyn's flat whatever, it didn't read as unaffected. It came off as cold, tone deaf, and oblivious to what the rest of the family and the viewers are going through. This episode didn't just give us closure. It cracked open every suspicion fans have harbored for years. Favoritism, manipulation, emotional distance, all confirmed out loud by someone who lived it. Janelle's voice is no longer just hers. It's the voice of the audience finally getting validation. Major media outlets have picked up on it too. Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Us Weekly, they're all shining the spotlight on her. Not Kody, not Robyn, not even Christine this time. Janelle is front and center. And people aren't just watching passively. They're picking sides. The time for neutrality is over. Kody's actions aren't being analyzed. They're being called out. Robyn's silence isn't being overlooked. It's being interpreted. The viewers are reading between the lines, and what they're seeing is a woman who finally stopped lying to herself to protect a narrative that no longer serves her. In one of the quietest yet most heartbreaking moments of the tell-all, Janelle says, "If I had a year with Kody, I'm not sure I would have married him." And just like that, decades of belief and sacrifice unravel. That line isn't just about regret. It's about seeing the truth for what it always was. In their world, relationships moved quickly, cloaked in spiritual reasoning and communal decision-making. Back then, Janelle probably believed she was entering something holy and unshakable. But now she sees what she ignored, what she gave up, and what she let slide in the name of faith. That sentence isn't explosive. It's calm, measured, and that's what makes it cut so deep. It's a truth that only surfaces once you've stopped lying to yourself. Once you finally admitted that you stayed far too long in someone else's dream. At its core, Janelle's journey is no longer just a subplot in a reality TV show. It's a deeply relatable story about the courage it takes to walk away from a life that's no longer your own. It's about reclaiming your identity after years of being cast in someone else's narrative. Her voice now illuminates the quiet pain, the subtle betrayals, and the realization that staying silent often comes at too high a cost. And then there's Mary, who's been quietly stepping away in her own way. Her recent solo travel feels less like a break and more like a declaration. She too is closing the chapter, not just on a relationship, but on a version of herself she no longer recognizes. Thanks for hanging with me through all of this. If these stories move you like they move me, don't forget to follow TLC's next chapter. And let's keep this conversation going. Who do you relate to most? What do you think really happens behind the scenes? Drop a comment and let's talk.